Hi, welcome back to another video. It's good for me just to be able to share with you, and I really appreciate that. If it's the first time that you've just stopped by, I hope you enjoy, I hope you stay. And for everyone, I hope that today will give you something to add to what, the wealth of what we already have. And it's not about me telling you what you should be doing or how you should be living your life, but all I want to do, and the videos are for me to encourage you from what I'm experiencing on an everyday basis, So that's the whole idea of I'm Woman Real Talk, just getting to the real nitty gritty of things, which will definitely evolve as we go along. Today, I want to talk about transitions, the changes that, we're making in our lives. And, what's very clear is that changes are happening on a daily basis. We are constantly changing. No one stays the same. Not the way we look, not the way we dress, where we live, family, work, friends, particularly in this society where so much is changing. So many of us have changed quite dramatically, over the last 2 years. So change is happening on a constant and a regular basis. And then there's the environmental change, changes that are happening in our, in our communities, in our workplaces, the way we are working now in that kind of hybrid way. Some work from home, some work going out to work, even though that didn't change for me. I'm still, moving down the M25 and, getting to my place of work because it doesn't work for me to work in that completely hybrid way. But there have been changes that we have had to make, particularly, post the great or the big P, and I don't even want to say the word, but, we've had to make those changes. And those have been environmental changes that have been kind of forced on us, if you like. And then there are the changes from family, in our families, if things have changed in our families. For example, if our children have moved out or they've gone to university. Indeed, if you're at that age and you're moving to university, that's going to be a transition for you and a change. If it's things to do with your immediate relationships, that brings a change. So again, there's that type of change that, is brought on by family. And then most importantly, I don't think it's most importantly, but there's the change and the transition that's driven by our visions, our plans for our lives, that's talking about where we want to be. When we are purposeful about making a transition in our lives, making changes in our lives that are driven by our plans, our visions, what we want to see for our futures. And it's not just about us. It isn't about us. It shouldn't be just about us. It should be about, because we are making those changes because we want to, support other people. We want to support our families. We want to, support our friends. We want to make an impact. I think for me, once something is just completely self-driven, then, it can be consuming. It will become consuming. So I really believe that the best transitions are ones that we are making, obviously, for, ourselves, because, it's, God uses our hands. He needs us to be able to move forward and to support other people. So firstly about ourselves, and then it's about, okay, how am I now going to, impact, support someone else, to come alongside someone else? Because, I often say that, we need each other. So in the transitions that we make, there are family and friends, and I wouldn't say, well, work colleagues in a way, but depending on whether they're work colleague or they're a friend, but certainly family and friends that will come alongside us for that and be part of the support that we so need. Hopefully in an ideal world, and I would say maybe generally that's the case, but I haven't really researched that, and maybe you can drop me a comment and possibly let me know. But there are times when you're making a transition and not everyone's on board for that, because there's something about you that they got used to. They knew how to relate to you. They assumed, they knew in fact what you would say in response to an event or an action or a comment. And because we believe that, and I believe that the change comes from within, and transition and change obviously comes from a mindset. The things you think, the things are driven by what you read, who you're with. And for me as a woman of faith, my thoughts are shaped by what God says about me, and his words to me, allowing me to develop my identity in him. So, and then and in addition, it's the things that you read, it's what you watch, it's the people that you're with, and the words that they're saying, because things that people say, and words that we read, that shapes our thoughts, and our thoughts then become our words, and as we know, words become actions. And in fact, before even the actions happen, if you go back one step, thoughts shape our words. So it's about our thinking. So in that transition, you may have people coming alongside that no longer can relate to you for whatever reason. And so in an organic way, I'll say it nicely, that sometimes they will just quietly drop away from your life, which isn't what you want. And when that does happen, you can feel like you're in a kind of almost lonely place sometimes. But as you move forward and that change is happening, that transition is happening, and as you can see, I'm moving my hands really slowly, because I believe change and transition, we know it doesn't happen overnight, it takes time. But then other people come into your life, and those are the people that are moving in the same direction, obviously not in the same way, but they're people that you can work alongside with and continue to build. Because for me, certainly, the end's goal and part of that movement is about pouring into and supporting other people in the things that they're doing, because like I said, we need each other. We're not an island, and God didn't make us on an island. He made us in a lattice together to link with other people and to move forward in that way. So that's the way that I felt that sometimes transitions can have that effect on other people and then on you. Whilst you're going through your transition, I believe that there are times when you kind of just need to stop and reflect, and certainly take time out just to think, okay, where was I don't know, a year ago, and where am I now? And when I look back at some of the things that I wrote down, my thoughts and feelings, maybe some of the videos that I made for myself in just kind of like my video diaries, I can see that there has been a lot of change, and I've been able to say that it's been good changes. sometimes if you don't take time to reflect on what's happened and the last couple of months or however long you need to go back, it's difficult sometimes to see that change, and other people can see it but you can't see it. So I think it's really important at that point to really take your time to reflect on where you were then and where you are now. And I think it's also about asking the question, am I on track? Am I on track in terms of, for the things that I've written down, in terms of where I want to be? Am I allowing God to change the way I think in areas where it would have been, my thoughts became kind of destructive or would obstruct the things that I wanted to do and the places that I need to be. And so I think that it's really important that, we do take time to reflect on where we are and to look at that journey and, praise that journey, be good to yourself. Look in the mirror and say, yeah, I'm going where, I'm on track. It doesn't happen overnight. And, sometimes there are stops and starts, and there are times when it feels like you've stopped and it's been such a long time that you've almost parked and it feels like nothing has happened. But believe me, you've changed. I always say that it's one step at a time. Sometimes I've worked with young people that are so profoundly affected in their sort of cognitive abilities that they're only able to eye gaze. And for me, I've often said that even if that young person can now look to the left, track to the left, and they couldn't do that before, that's progress. So I guess what I'm saying is that it's the small steps that we make that add together and they make the big steps, they make the difference. So appraise the small steps, appraise the daily movements that you make, and take your time and, enjoy the journey. Moving on from what I said earlier, I just wanted to add to that by reading you something from the scriptures, and it's Isaiah. It's Isaiah 30. It's the Old Testament, and it's Isaiah 30, and it's verse 21. And this is about when we're stopping to think about and to reflect on where we are. And it's interesting because what God says here. He says, put my glasses on. It says, your ears will hear a word behind you saying, this is the way, walk in it. Whenever you turn to the right hand, or wherever you turn, or whenever you turn to the left. So wherever you're going, whether it's behind, whether it's left, you might, because you're veering off a bit, or whether it's to the right because you feel you might be, moving off a bit, though you don't realize it. God is there. He's there in that process because he's given you that vision. He's the one that's put all the skills and the talents and the abilities inside of you. And also, I think most importantly, there are days when we just feel so demotivated and you just feel, really, is this really about what it is I want to do? There are so many obstacles, so many obstructions, and wherever they're coming in from. But it's on those days when God is even more strongly felt, and he may not be, but what I mean is that he's there on those days. And those are the days when we step into the right or left, or we think, oh my gosh, am I really on track? And those are the days when we will hear a word behind us, when we think he's not there, saying, this is the way, walk in it. So, when we're feeling a little off track, God will set us back on track. So I just wanted to encourage you with that today. And yeah, let me know how your transitions are going, how your changes are going. Yeah, so I hope you've enjoyed, and I hope this has, encouraged you today. So lastly and firstly, I would say please do subscribe, like, comment, and let me know how this video, whether you like this video and if you want me to make any more. And so hear from you soon, and see you in the next video. Okay, bye for now.